So, Stewart Recording Studio has the bank rec on March 31st. As you can see, they've got a list. They've got a, I guess this is their ledger here. And a list of deposits made and checks written during April taken from the cash receipts journal. So cash receipts and cash disbursements. The following bank statement is available for April. So in reviewing checks returned by the bank, the bookkeeper discovered that check 28 for delivery expense was recorded in the cash disbursements journal $4,900 correctly. NSF check was from Oprah Winnie for $14,200. The bank statement has a payment of $15,900 regarding a note payable, and a deposit of $120,000 dated April 30th is an investment made by the owner into the business. The bank transferred the funds electronically from the owner's personal account to his business account, which is why it was not recorded in the cash receipts journal. All right, so let's set up our bank rec. This is Stewart Recording Studio. This is a bank reconciliation on April 30th, 2017. Easy mark. We are going to start with our bank statement balance. Where can we find our bank statement balance? On the bank statement. 110,000. It's at the very bottom here. 110,113. And we need our book balance. Where can we find our book balance? Yeah, our general ledger for cash. At the very bottom. 11,213. Do these amounts balance? Close. 110,113. Right? That's the very bottom of the bank statement. So let's start along the left side. Let's see if we have any additions to make. So what is our oldest deposit? We're waiting to see if it cleared. $10,000 from March 31st. This is on the last bank rec. That's where you always start. And it has cleared. Following that, we can go into our April receipts. $690, cleared. $4,600, $5,900, $13,900, $1,750, $44,600. No. So bank statement balance. Let's add deposit in transit for $44,600, and now we can mark that as kind of for. Is there any other deposits between the last bank rec and our deposits that are outstanding? No, so we can. That's all of our additions to this left side. And what do we get when we add it up? 154,713. So let's see if there are any outstanding checks. which I'm sure there will be. Starting with our oldest check, which is check number 14. And is check 14 on the bank? Nope. Okay, so let's go ahead and add it. I'm just going to put in a little line here. Less outstanding checks number 14, 840. $22, is that on the bank statement?
No.
And you can mark it down. So that's all of the old ones from before April. Let's take a look at the ones from April. Number 23 for 5,200. Yes. 24 for 3,150.
Yes.
25 for 940.
No.
So let's add it. We'll mark it down. 26 for 310. 20, check 27 for 4,230.
No.
So then we'll mark it now that we've included it. Check 28 for 4,900.
No. Yes, but the wrong amount.
All right, so we don't need to include it. There is an error. Now it says that the amount that the cash disbursement journal was correct of 4,900. So we're going to mark it as correct, and we're going to figure out. So let's just put a little on the bank. Let's just put a little star there to remind us that we got to deal with that. Check 29 for 19,630.
Yes.
41,000. Check 30.
No.
Check 31 for 412. Yes. And check 32 for 11,400. No. So now we've either included all of these, they've already been found in the bank statement, or we've included them in our rec, right? All the outstanding checks. So we're satisfied that we have nothing else. What is the total of all of our outstanding checks? 58,725. And what do we get? So this is the total of that. What do we get when we less 154,713 from 58,725? 95,988.
Yeah.
This is our adjusted statement balance. Sorry, pardon me. This is our adjusted bank balance, not our statement. That's no longer a statement number. Oops. And the reason we're satisfied with this, we're not stressing about all the other ones that we're not seeing, is because this is just what is in the ledger, not what is in the bank. And where we fix our errors is going to be on the right side as well. So this is just going through, not worrying about the bank. All we care about is that everything on the left side of the bank rec has either been found in the bank statement or included, and same as all of these. That's all we care about on the left side. So don't get confused, just work through your ledger and your bank rec, your previous bank rec, and you'll get to the other side. So let's work through now the difficult side. This is what's in the bank, but not on the ledger. So is there any deposits that we need to add? Yes, so we need to add 120,000. So why don't we go ahead and do that? Now why are we adding 120,000? Because we haven't, yes, exactly, we haven't added in our ledger. 120,000. We can mark it as complete. So now, the only one that I wrote that on the left side, only because we need to look at this error. So these three we know are going to be less because they're on the charges side. But we're not sure about this error because the errors can go either adds or less. It really depends on the error, right? It depends if you've understated or overstated your cash. So in this case, check 28 for delivery expense was recorded in the cash disbursement journal correctly as $4,900. 40. So it is, the difference is $4,500.
Yeah.
Right. So the difference being 9,400 less 4,900 is $4,500. But it charged our account $9,400. So is our bank lower or higher than it's supposed to be? But they charged 94 instead of 45 on our check. It's lower than it needs to be. So to make it right, we need to add it back, right? So we're going to add our error. Check 28. And the difference being, they overcharged us $4,500. So what are we going to do when we see this statement? If we're the business owner, we're the accountant.
Take it back.
We're going to call the bank and we're going to say, you made a mistake, we want our $4,500 back, right? That's the first thing we'll do when we see this. So the bank will fix their error. They'll put $4,500 into our account. So we are just going to add that in right now. So now we've cleared that, so we can mark that as complete. So what do we get when we add these? And so this is where, when you look at errors in bank recs, this is where the kind of critical thinking comes in place, right? You got to think exactly, and you got to put it kind of in debits, credits as well. So in this case, they took $9,400 out of our account and put it into somebody else's account. They should have only taken $4,900. So first thing we do is we're going to get it added back, right? And that's exactly what we've done here. Well, we haven't called them, but we've added it back. So what is this total when we add 124,500 to 11,213? 135, sorry?
35. 135 to 713.
Okay. Do we have any charges in our bank statement not reflected in our... Yes.
Like we have added here 4,500, but it is showing the book balance, and we already have 4,900 there.
So, you know what? Yeah. So So the question is, it's already reflecting the book balance. So we don't actually want to change this in the book. So, yeah. So you're right. We could have added this here as well. Either way would work. So would, let's just, yeah, you know what, maybe you're right.
So you can subtract it here in book balance.
We can subtract it to the book balance, eh? Would it not balance if we add $4,500 to our book? Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I did make a mistake, didn't I? This error should be on the book side.
Yeah.
All right, that is my mistake. So any bank errors will actually add back to our bank balance because this is our book balance side. So I did make a mistake. Thanks for catching that. So if we add this to and you're right, because we wouldn't journalize this $4,500 because the bank will just reverse it and make it right. I mean, I guess we could journalize a... Yeah, we would want to probably journalize and we just make it an accounts receivable. So we could less it. We would less it, right?
Yeah, we will less it in book.
All right. You're right. So this is exactly why I'm saying you got to be careful here because you got to think about it and then put it into the right place. Yeah, that makes sense. So we'll just scratch this part out here.
So we're lessing it
We're going to less it, yeah.
from the bank?
So this is our book balance, and that's what I got confused on. So our book balance right now is $4,900. This has a $4,900 credit in it. What has actually happened in our bank is it's been credited $8,900, so we need to less it. Sorry for messing everyone up there. Thanks for catching that. Even accountants can make mistakes on these guys. Now, what would have happened in the exam or on your homework is when it didn't balance, it would have been off by 9,000, and I would have went, oh shit, yeah, we got to go the other way, right? But you caught it before we got there, so that makes it easier. So we will just put this 120,000 addition. So what is 11,213 plus 120,000? 100 and
131.
yeah. And the whole reason why I made a mistake, because again, this is our book balance. So our book balance has a negative $4,900 into it because the book is correct, the ledger is correct, and the bank has negative $8,900. So to reduce, we need to reduce the book balance an additional $4,500 for it to match what happened in our account. So we can less error check 28. $4,500. And then what else in our bank account? Moving through our bank statement, what else in this bank statement is not in the...
NSF.
Yeah, so the first one being the NSF. For $14,200. The next one being the payment for $15,900. Next one being the interest for $450. The next one being the service charge for $175. So what is the total of all of these values being less? Sorry, what is this amount?
3,522.
And if we less 131 from 131 213 from 35225,
988.
We get 95988.
Yes, sir.
So we get our adjusted book balance. And you got to pat your neighbor on the back for that catch too. Give him a good pat on the back there, yeah. So we did, yeah. Do you want to take a minute and do we want to talk through this error one more time now that I got my head clear?
Yes. Down at the top of the page, it goes to check your figure, and it's got an adjusted balance of 100,488.
100,000 for
Check error should have been added to the bank side.
adjusted value. Oh, so they added it to the bank side. So
Statement.
there's
2 ways.
There's 2 ways to do it, and one is if you call, like in real life, if you were to call the bank and have them reverse it, you wouldn't necessarily need to do any journal entries because they would just change the number. So this way we would journalize it, and then when they send us the $4,500 back or they reversed it, we would then journalize and reverse it, so it'd be add basically 2 entries. So that would be the same. In real life, an accountant firm wouldn't give you crap if you just called it, told them to reverse it, and then didn't change your ledger at all, right? So you can do it either or. So they would have added that into the bank side because it was a bank error. I've always been one of those accountants that likes to see every single dollar in and out, even if it doesn't make a difference. So what we can do now is journalize our entries, and then let's talk about this $4,500 one more time. So the bank was wrong and the book was right. The ledger was correct. The bank said $9,400 and the book said $4,500, the ledger. $4,900. The difference is, so that means the bank charged us, they took an additional $4,500 out of our account. So we can either add $4,500 to our bank statement, which is what actually the answer key in the book did. So we can add it back, because in real life what we're going to do is we're going to call the bank and say, please give us our $4,500 back, and they're just going to instantly deposit. They won't argue. They'll look at the check and there won't be an issue, right? So you can either add it to the bank statement balance, and is that how you said the books, what does the check figure say? 100,000. So that's how they would get to the 100,000 number, because you can add it. Or what you can do is you can less it from your book balance. You can show a receivable that the bank owes you $4,500. So you'd bring your balance of your ledger down, and then when the bank paid you the $4,500, you would just debit your cash again. So there's two ways to do it. It's exactly the same, because the bank, you just have the same bank balance at the end of it in ledger balance, but it's just two different methods. The reason it's $4,500 again is because they took out an additional $4,500 from the bank when they're not supposed to. So in this case, we're just adjusting our book down by $4,500 to show that extra money that they took out. I mean, we're still going to call and get the money back, but just to show it. But you can also add that into your bank balance and just call the bank and not even do a journal entry. So hopefully that makes sense. We'll do one more example in a little bit with more errors, and I'll try not to make a mistake when I do it. So let's add our journal entries. This is for April 30th. And what additions do we have? We only have one addition. Any additions to our book balance, we are going to debit cash. In this case, what are we going to credit? Yeah, we'll go. We're going to credit owner's capital. It was a investment from the owner for $120,000 from his personal account. Now, we have how many more journal transactions will we have?
5.
5 more. Yep. And all of them are going to be crediting cash. So this first one that's error, who owes us $4,500?
The bank.
Accounts receivable, bank. And as soon as they pay us, all we're going to do is just reverse this entry, right? On this NSF, we had an NSF check from Oprah Winnie. She paid it to us. We deposited it. The bank went to take it from her account. She didn't have the funds. It bounced. They took the money back from our account. So we got to credit our cash. And what do we debit?
For
Accounts
accounts.
receivable, Oprah, to reinstate account for Oprah after bounced check. We paid a $15,900 payment for a bank loan. So what are we going to credit? Our cash. What will we debit? What type of payable is a bank loan? Notes payable. To record payment to loan. We had an interest expense of $450. So we'll credit our cash. And I just said the answer. What are we going to debit? Our interest expense. To record interest payment for April. And our last one, we had a service charge. So we can credit our cash, $175. And we can debit service charges or bank fees. I'll just put bank charges. It'll depend on what the accounting chart of accounts has for bank charges. What it's called. There I have it. 6 accounts, 6 transactions. So when the bank reverses that, or sends us the $4,500 or fixes that error, we'll just reverse that. Same as when Oprah sends us a new check, we'll reverse that. What's that?